Hello everyone, my name is AP the Weird One, and we are back with The Red Ranger Becomes an Adventure in Another World, Episode 10. Two more episodes after this, and then we'll be done. Bit of a shame, I really like the series, but we do need a little break here and there. Anyway, the majority of this episode is, it's a bit interesting. So the first half is a battle between Red and Azir, and also learning a little bit more about the backstory, why he did the things that he did. The episode covers a little bit of 11, but majority of it is 12. So we kind of got the little bit of the end of 11, and it's all of 12. And you would think that it wouldn't be much of an episode. However, we do get a bit of some bonus scenes, which we're going to talk about. Actually, hold on, one more thing. I forgot something about it. I wanted to check one last thing to get a little bit of clarification, which will be brought up. But So going forward, we have Red and Azir. They're all morphed up and they're ready to go. They do a few punches, and then the opening credits, and finally after that we get a bit of a backstory. So at the time before he got the privileged seat, and Azir was kind of in charge of the workers, and his father being the leader of the kingdom. He's in charge of the workforce. He pays people by a certain percentage. He pays the elves more, and the regular citizens less. And the reason being is simply they have to take on higher quality jobs. They have to deal with issues that require magic. They're better for, and even though the normal workers work their butt off, and they're in grueling situations, because the elves have a higher dealing with higher up positions, or dealing with higher work, dealing with tougher and more sensitive jobs. They get paid more. The workers are not happy about that. They think it's because he's friends with Rhaenyra, which is not true. I mean, they're friends, and he's kind of got feelings for her, but he's not necessarily solidified it. But following that, he has a talk with the father. It's like, hey, when are we going to get more magical tools? And of course, the academy, the most pain in the ass is taking forever. So he wants to pay his workers more, and he wants to rely on less of the elf. But of course, the prestigious Royal Institute is being a bit of a pain. They're not wanting to fork over the material. It's going to be a while. Had Ydri's father been in charge, then they would have gotten the equipment more. And potentially the elves would have had a different role, being more medics to them if something had gone awry. So there's that issue. So after that, we get the big battle. It's essentially a one-sided fight. Kizuna Red just absolutely beats the crap out of him, because even though we do find out he's got better stats than Rhaenyra, because the power is not meant for him, he just kind of gets slapped around. I mean, just super easy. It's an interesting point. Like, his privileged seed offered more power, and when that comes into play, Logi basically takes care of it, because his sword is very useful against it. But yeah, it's a one-sided fight, even like all the different forms. There is a funny bit where, because their morphers are yelling out attacks and weaponry, it's very loud. Teltenna has to have her ears closed by Logi, and both Ydra and Rhaenyra are like, okay, they're kind of used to it. But yeah, even Ydra admits it, like, yeah, it's super loud. But with that going on, then we get another flashback to the past, where the workers are rioting and they want answers, and in the process they kill his father. And following that, he's got to be the leader, and he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know if he should rely on Rhaenyra, because the dissatisfaction with the elf people are not happy with the there's a bit of kind of xenophobia towards them, when they don't necessarily like him. So that's how he acquires the privileged seat, and he's going to force his people to get along with them. Unfortunately, that also has to kind of bring the elves into work. He's got to make them also work together. So he's got a noble intention, but unfortunately, power does corrupt, and he took the wrong way to go. We come back. He's in a new form, Pharaoh Relief, that doesn't do anything. does anything. He combines with his privileged seed beast Waz, and they manage to basically destroy it. A little bit before the combination, that he does use his power to slow down time, which in reality is not slowing down time. Yijiro realizes it's slowing down. It makes like a freezing effect, or like when you get attached to like cement, or more like tar. The sand is causing them to hold them together, like stopping them in place. It's not necessarily freezing at time, but because of Logi's sword, he's able to negate the magic from the sand and be able to do the attack. So it kind of has really no effect. It's a lost battle if he continues to use it. Wear him down. And once after the combination, once the fusion, the privilege takes over and he becomes a gigantic tornado, and the Megazord needs to be called, and that's essentially where the end of that part. Now, I do want to talk. The thing I was looking up is I want to mention the positions or roles the character each have. So the Megazords all pull it powered up. They have all 5 members. Red, of course, is Red Ranger. Logi is blue. Yidra is yellow. Talten is green. And pink is Rainia. Now, I do find these a bit interesting, and I didn't really consider it until the second half. I was watching the episode, I'm like, oh, there's more after the credits. And that's because we learned the backstories of the original 5. We learned more about them, which is interesting, and how everybody's kind of doing their thing, and Red's kind of wondering, like, how did this kind of come together? How did we all meet? Why was everybody chosen? Well, it all started because of Nayar Kizuna Blue, Nayar Banjoi. He is super intelligent. He's the top of the class. He's actually the leader of the group, which is interesting, considering that he doesn't get the biggest Kizuna beast. You would think he'd be the Red Ranger or something, or he would have his blue beast would be the more powerful. But he's a prodigal genius. He owned multiple companies at age 10, and he even has this commercial, which allows us to get a better understanding of everyone's age, which is interesting. But yeah, so he's the leader of the group. He's the one who helped create the bond metals, or the bond beasts and the bond morphers. The reason there's 5 is because it would be pointless to create more. You need a selection of individuals who have what is called big bond souls, which can produce a lot of bond energy, and so that's why these particular people are chosen. Now, what's interesting when you get a little bit into Yellow's backstory, Emily's, you find out there could have been someone else. Because she's this amazing teacher, she's this super powerful. However, she has a bit of a past, as we learned that she was essentially a Bancho in her school. If you basically looked at her wrong, she was just gonna beat the crap out of you. And so, like, if I had known that had he known that she had this backstory, she would have chosen. They would have chosen someone else. But when the discussion about the ages of everybody, we learn that he's 24. Emily is between the ages of 27 and 29, because when he did this commercial at age 10, it was 14 years ago. And we kind of learned everybody's age. Emily comments to the others like, why don't you remember this commercial? And everybody says they're kind of the reasons for it. Red, of course, was 4 at the time. Pink Ranger, it was 2. So we know. So Red, he's currently 18 at the time, and Pink is 16. And we also learned that Green Ranger, he was 6 years old, so he's now currently 20. And we also learned he's in college. The reason he was chosen is because he basically did Ninja Warrior, a fictional version of Ninja Warrior that they called Seizo. So that's how he was chosen. Although he has a very military background, which leads, I guess, to me, infers that he did, maybe he was a parent of a soldier. Maybe he's like part American or something, or part of the Defense Force. He had a very rigorous Rhaegar's home, you could say. So and possibly he could have been from overseas. But yeah, he's very military-esque. He wears the camel gear. So he's a very serious person. And he kind of tells him, like, you don't need to be so much, and even it's a little bit off-putting to the other group as well. But they get along. It's fun. So we do get a little bit of backstory. We don't know why Red or Pink was chosen. I'm assuming I'm not sure if they're going to discuss Pink, why Pink was chosen or Red was chosen this episode. I wanted to say they're going to get to it. Also, we do have Silver. I want to believe that probably at the finale we're gonna get the reason. We'll get the last two, or maybe we'll get Red and Pink this episode, and then and Silver in the last, because Silver's backstory is gonna be coming up pretty soon. Silver's role in this series is gonna come back to fruition. So overall, good episode. I wasn't exactly expecting, the backstory. I did find it weird, but they're doing the pacing. They're trying to, I believe, get on point with episode chapters, I think 15 and 16, when we get the big giant revelation, I would assume. So they're trying to save that moment. I did look a little bit ahead, just before this episode, and I did realize that the next part is going to be pretty funny with the Megazord. The Megazord fighting the tornado should be really fun. But yeah, I wanted to hear. No. Wait a minute. I want to do a little bit of comparison. That's there was the reason I brought this up. So going back to the new group. So Logi, he's similar to Blue in that he was an excellent warrior. He was well trained. He had a good heart of justice. He's similar to Blue. Yidra, I guess, being someone a magician and being similar to a professor, one help people learn how to use magical tools and how better create a better group of people, you could say. So there's a bit of similarity, and they're both kind of a little bit hot-headed, a little bit. She's a little more calm, but she does have her moments. Zeltenna being green, soldiers and politicians are a different sort, but considering she took on the responsibility of a privilege seat and transformed into something positive. So she had a lot of bear weight, and she was kind of alone. So she was fighting, kind of being a Ronin and sort of an outcast. And then Pink, we don't know, but I mean, guessing the age of Rhaenyra being a bit young and naive. So that's the best we can kind of infer. Or maybe she's very similar that they both wore masks. But yeah, I wanted to bring this up because what colors that each represent, and how they reflect the older group. But now I'm done. So with that, I'll see you guys next week for episode 11. Well, it's gonna be some good fun. I kind of do feel like the series should be 13 episodes, given what we're gonna come. But I'll read ahead and see how much they'll make way if chapters 13 and 14 can be done in 2 episodes, if that seems reasonable. I'd like to believe so, but yeah. Anyway, hopefully you guys have a wonderful day. See you guys next time. And yeah.